FM and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from. All that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Good morning, Ulster County.
Good morning, Ulster County. Good morning, Heidi. How are you this morning?
I'm lovely.
You're lovely.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm great. I really am. I'm a little achy and painy from shoveling, but I got through it. We all did, and it wasn't much of a storm, but we did do okay. How about
I thought
you?
It was a good storm.
Ah, come on.
One of the biggest since I can't remember a storm like that for at least a couple years. There was
we had nothing last year.
Yeah,
well, we had that one big one in the beginning of December. I was at a Giant game, and it started dumping December 1st.
That's right.
And then that was it.
That's it.
2 years ago, we got crushed in the end of February, beginning of March.
That was
I remember
and that was one. Remember, we got 14 one morning, and then it stopped for like 4 or 5 hours, and then we got like another 8 or 9 after that. That was pretty big. I think we were close to like 18 inches on this one, but it's hard to tell with the wind blowing.
Okay, so that was the issue with this storm.
Yes.
What was the issue?
See, my role is to take care of the front porch and the back deck, but both are covered.
Right.
For the most part at my house. So I don't really have, I just like maybe a little bit with the broom.
Right.
No. I had probably 5 inches of snow on my
God, Heidi.
Because it blew. Right. And and so this morning while I was getting ready, I'm thinking, what is this little pain I have between my thumb and my pointer finger? And I realized that that's from the shovel.
No, it's funny. I saw a post that Dave Donaldson made, which was hysterical. I guess there's an even and an odd day for alternate side of the street. So when they plowed, I guess he was even, let's say, and he moved his car where it was supposed to be. And then when they plowed, they pushed all the snow against the cars. Yeah. It was like, so he was ranting about that, but in a funny way.
Which way did you come in? Did you come down Hurley Avenue by any chance?
I came up, Washington Avenue.
Oh, Washington, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love our DPW guys, and I give them so many props, really, for being out there. But I don't know, maybe the plow trucks are broken?
No, you know what it is? And you have, in defense to that kind of thing.
Because right when I exited Hurley, you go under the underpass to almost like by the City of Kingston line. Not sure what happened. There's like a lot of snow still on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because some cars were in the street.
Could be wind. You know, the wind could have blown it back on. It could be the cars, threw the snow back onto the street. You know, it's snow, and it has to have time to figure itself out.
Maybe.
You know. But anyway.
I thought maybe the blades don't hit the ground as much.
You don't think so?
No, like.
Would they lift them up a little bit?
Maybe they had shoes on the blades
maybe.
in that city.
Yeah, but maybe. It's hard to say.
Hard to say.
But, the other thing is we have to give these guys, everyone, all the supervisors in the county and around the county, they're dealing with a lot when they look at every department, right? You have this COVID thing, right? In today's paper, it says, Ulster County passes 2,000 active cases. So you have a situation where, the executives of the county, whether it be our county executive or the town executives and supervisors, they have to manage their employees, and DPW is one. So if they have half the staff in, what do? Right? They have to prepare all the trucks, get all the plows on them and all that stuff. And if they're doing half crews, it's tough because they have to manage themselves through this, pandemic situation. I'm sticking up for them. Yes, Heidi, you're smiling at me, but it's true. I really
Did you tell him smiling?
Huh? I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
No, it's challenging.
My roads are beautiful.
Did you go out there and do them yourself?
No, I have wonderful town highways.
Did you have shoes on?
George Schindler.
No, I'm joking.
No, I don't.
Us too. We,
I don't know. I saw a truck in a ditch out in Kerhonkson. Did you see that picture?
What happened?
I don't know.
Where?
I don't know what road it was on, but it was on social media. So I don't know if it was. Are your town trucks orange? Or is that?
Orange, yeah, they are. So, yeah, they do that once in a while. They get up in Trails End and places like that, and they get kind of, they slide off.
It happens.
It happens, Again, it's snow, it's slippery, it's icy, and people make mistakes by accident. That's why they call them accidents, not on purposes.
Speaking of,
What,
okay.
on purposes?
So, Walgreens is now open till midnight.
Wow.
Yeah, and so Bryce would have to work till midnight. So
Right.
the other day he said, can you guys give me a ride, or what do you want me to do? And I said, no, you're not taking your car out. It needs new tires. So we'll drive you and we'll pick you up. What time do you have to be there? 5. I said, okay. And then he said, we're only open until 10 because of the weather. No problem. So my husband earlier that day takes Bryce's car and he gets new tires put on Bryce's car.
Good.
He comes home and he says he can drive himself to work. And I said, oh, but it's supposed to be a terrible snow. Wayne goes, he'll be fine. I said, but it's that hill by Davenport Fields, and he'll be fine. Let him drive. If he can't make it halfway, his cousin lives right there. Let him pull into his cousin's house, and we'll come get him. So I'm a nervous wreck, from 5 to 9:30. I text Bryce, make sure you start your car early enough to get your windshield cleaned off. Text me before you leave so I'll know when to expect him. 5 minutes later, Bryce walks through the door. I said, son. He goes, I was driving when you texted me. I said,
how funny.
How was it? Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. And I go, it was bad? He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, the hill by Marcotte right there?
Yeah.
He goes, I passed Marcotte Road. I said, you did? He goes, yeah. He goes, I didn't know I can't use my brakes really when it's snowing out.
Oh, no.
I said, you shouldn't even been on the accelerator at all.
Right.
He goes, I said, so what'd you do? He goes, I backed up, which means he backed up 209.
Oh.
And then I missed it again.
Oh, no.
While he was backing up. And then I said, then what'd you do? He goes, then I couldn't stop, so I pulled my e-brake.
Oh, no.
And I drifted into Marcotte Road. So this is what I'm dealing with.
Right. It's.
He made it home safely.
Well, thank God. And, there's not that many people on the road. As long as you don't go into a ditch somewhere.
That's a very dangerous
And that's a
intersection.
dangerous spot. It is.
And you should never back up, Mark.
And, Wayne needs to take him out in the snow a little bit in a parking lot somewhere. Let him feel.
Oh, this one, he'll know for the future. And maybe that was what Wayne's point was.
Yeah, let him
Although I
figure it
think
out.
he wanted to get his money's worth out of the new tires, but...
I'm getting new tires on the 20th. I go get new tires on my truck. I have 40,000 miles on those tires. Treated me right. But you got to keep up. Those wear marks on the tires are really important to watch. And as a safety thing, people should pay attention to them. I mean, it's funny. Was it last week? I just getting gas and this and that, checking the air on the tires.
Do you kick the tires?
No, I don't. There's a little wear mark. Do you know the wear mark?
some men they go over and they look at the tire and then
Yeah,
they kick
yeah.
it. I'm not
They
sure.
used to have tire bats. Truck drivers have tire bats to actually, they know the sound when they're the right. Yeah, it's you know that, huh?
Very manly thing.
Yeah, it is. Must be. But so I still can't find my electric
I
shaver.
noticed that.
And I said to Terry, Tara, you got to find this electric thing. It's got to be packed. I really want to shave this off, so I'm really playing it off well.
See, it's creeping out the side.
It's creeping. I got creep. I got creep. I didn't get my hair cut. You got yours cut, but I'll get it next week.
I have this. I don't know where Lawrence, you in there?
No, he left.
So I bought this sweatshirt just so I could wear it here on these days.
Oh, are you cold, Heidi? You look like a Little Red Riding
When
Hood.
it gets cold in the studio. It doesn't get cold in the studio, though. The studio is very wonderfully warm. But just, I'm old school.
So it's interesting. I was texting with Jerome from the superintendent of the jail yesterday. He's my pastor, as you know, and he was telling me about these cases. And they are reported in the paper. He has 17 cases, and they have them in areas in a pod that obviously seems to be working, but he just doesn't want it to spread. It's tough. This pandemic, it really did rear its ugly head once again.
Yeah, just like they predicted that it would.
Yep.
So, yes, we do have COVID in the Ulster County Jail.
Yeah.
I heard the exact numbers. I believe last Friday they were finishing testing everyone in the Ulster County Jail, including staff and officers and inmates as well. And I know our good sheriff is doing everything he can.
Oh, he is. I mean, even Pat, they're going through some stuff, trying to separate again departments and do what they need to do. It's funny.
Good to have an extra pod.
Couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Well. Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about downsizing that jail, and right now, I've always been of the mindset I'd rather have something and not need it than need it and not have it. And right now, they were able to isolate those inmates in a separate pod, and
Yeah, in Orange County, they're going through some stuff. That sheriff is fighting the fact that he's got to relieve half the population of his jail. And it's interesting you say that, but they're going through that right now in Orange. And I got to tell you, it's this bail reform thing, because it has not been fixed yet, and it hasn't been totally realized yet. They're looking to release some really bad people, but that have made some really bad mistakes.
Is this due to the COVID?
Because of the COVID.
They must have some underlying health issues,
Yep.
perhaps.
Yep. So, it's like, what do you do? So because you have both of the bail reform plus the COVID, it's coming to some strange peak. But again, it's another challenge that our elected officials face. And we just have to thank God our elected officials are doing the best they can, what they have. Sure. I was speaking to Jimmy Quigley. He's in the same boat. He's got, part of his a person had COVID in the office, so they had to shut down the town hall for a little while. And they have court there, so they have to be very careful. And it's stressful for these guys. This is, we look at our elected officials and say, boy, they're trying to do what they got to do. But that's a lot of stress, personal stress as well. So, when we talk about this stuff, we really have to realize that these are not easy decisions. They have their communities at large to be concerned about. And we have to thank them for doing what they're doing. And we have to make sure that we have to be mindful that they're human too,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but anyway, I don't want to get on.
And especially now with the jail situation.
Yeah.
That was something that, they did a really good job.
Yep.
The first wave.
Sure.
And it's not that they didn't do a good job.
Right.
Now it's just some of these things are inevitable.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny. You could argue both sides of the coin, right? You could say, well, because we have more testing, right? You have more cases, right? Because the asymptomatic people are now showing up, you see. So you have a couple of different problems.
We've now leveled out at the same amount of testing we had during the height of the first wave.
Okay.
So we're testing. We have the same capacity now.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, that was a
Okay.
few weeks ago. Because
Okay.
I brought that issue up
Did
as
you?
well. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we are definitely, they had that capacity back then when the numbers looked like what they did.
Right.
And, so that's.
But no, it's.
Well, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
There is. Yeah, we
At
had
8 o'clock? No, 8 o'clock.
No,
Vice President Pence and they're going to be receiving their vaccination.
Oh, is that right? Well, good for them, I guess, But listen, we have that. That's the light at the end of the tunnel, right? So.
That's what we're gearing up to deal with now.
Yep. No, and that's that's a positive thing too. It's funny. You have the vaccine people who are willing to take it. They have the anti-vacciners. You have all this stuff going on. And I was just mentioning earlier that, being in the service, what happens is, we got God knows how many vaccines I had. You know what I'm saying? All sorts of cocktails. And we lived through them, so.
What was the vaccination that gave everyone the pockmark?
That was polio.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the polio
Why
vaccine.
was it so nasty?
I don't know. I think maybe it was deep.
Was it, you wouldn't remember that.
I was a child. My sister had polio.
So it must have left a scab.
I guess. Again, I'm
To have a scar like that.
I think it might have. It was like 4 little things.
Wrong thing.
Yeah. Again, I have the mark.
You have the mark?
I have the mark to prove it.
I don't have that, so
Right.
something clearly changed by the time.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. But listen, there are going to be adverse reactions to the vaccine. But as the way the media is today and the news is today, we don't want anybody to get ill from the vaccine. And we don't want anybody to have anybody wants to have these things. But it's going to happen. But we can't look at that and say, okay, we can't have it. Don't do it, But so it's a personal choice, and we'll see where it goes,
So coming up at around 7:30-ish, because, that's just how we operate here on the Heidi and Friends show. We're going to have Minority Leader Ken Ronk call in. And
I'm really excited about Kenny and you
weekly
talking about
wrap-up.
this. Yeah, it's exciting. I've been not asking you anything about the budget because I want to wait. But how was sales tax? Just to
You should probably wait and ask Ken.
You want to wait?
Yeah, that's our weekly wrap-up.
That's true. That's true. I'll wait.
You have to wait. You've come this long without talking about it.
You're right.
You have to wait till we get Kenny on it.
Yeah.
So 7:30-ish.
7:30-ish. Yeah. So I heard that Delgado has 2 bills in Congress right now.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, one is for every place that have veterans cemeteries to make sure that they're kept up and stuff like that, and also making sure that states that don't have them have the ability to do them. So we're looking for funding for that. So he's doing his job. He's out there and he's telling people.
They continue to work.
Excuse me?
Let's hope they continue to work.
Yeah,
We don't
well.
shut down today.
I have to.
Without passing a stimulus package.
You hear all these stories, man, and the biggest one is people who are renting apartments and can't pay, and then you have the other side of building owners and landlords who can't collect and have taxes coming up.
You have the states that need their
Yeah, yeah. Then you have the people who are out of work that need their unemployment.
Yes.
It's and you have the holidays coming up. I really wish that 2020 can't come to an end quick enough. And I hope that 2021 has some brighter sides.
Yeah, we all hope for that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it is a call-in show.
Yeah, please call in.
331-9255. You
Thank
can
you,
pick
Heidi.
the topic.
Yeah.
Len and I typically like to speak about some political topics.
Well, anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, you pick the topic. 331-9255.
And I hope Dave dug out his car after they buried it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That really struck me funny. But it is crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you do with your car? You get it plowed under. I don't know.
I parked mine in the garage.
I shoveled out the driveway. I have to go back to Boodle Hole now.
Although I parked mine in the garage, clearly.
Yeah.
But there was a car in our driveway.
Okay.
So Wayne was doing his thing, and, plowing, and then he's got this tractor, and so this car was, unveiling itself as the time went on, and I still thought it was Bryce's girlfriend.
Oh no, it's Frank McKay's car.
No, that finally got returned.
Oh, did it really? Frank came up?
Yeah, Frank came up a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So poor Frank needed to be picked up at the bowling alley where there was like a budget rental thing there. But I was stuck in a Ways and Means meeting.
Oh, no.
So he had to wait 40 minutes extra. But Frank was fine with it. But anyway,
how's he doing?
Frank? Yeah. This was a couple weeks ago. So he's good.
Yeah, that was our party leader.
That's Ron Perpeel. There's more.
And there's more. Did he talk about more that's coming?
But wait, there's more. Yes, of course.
What's coming?
It's Frank. You just gotta wait and see. Sounded a little complex.
Was it complex?
Had a lot of moving parts.
A lot of parts we're moving in the Independence Party right now. We can carry, we don't carry.
So nonetheless, after this car reveals itself, I realize it's not Bryce's girlfriend's
Whose car was it?
It's another friend of Bryce's. And these kids are in the basement who couldn't make it home from, they were out on the roads the other night. Right. And one of them was Marcy's son, Sal.
Oh, is that right?
So, yeah.
Bryce has such a good group of friends.
Yeah, he really does.
He really does. It's fun to listen. You know, I like the Bryce stories. I like Lydia's stories, too.
Lydia don't got much stories.
Come on. She doesn't have anything going on?
No, it's terrible.
You're kidding me. Usually she's it's all sorts of little mischief.
No, I know. It's really dull right now for her, except her Spanish teacher keeps calling. Listen, I'm just going to put this out there right now.
What's that?
I don't want, if any teachers are listening, don't call me before the holiday. I'm burned out by the whole thing, and I don't want to hear about missing assignments. I know this sounds really bad, probably makes me look like a bad parent, but I can't anymore. I get the emails that there's 5 missing assignments.
What?
And the virtual learning, the remote learning, and then I say to Lydia, she swears she turned it in, and it's gotten our house in uproar.
There's an expression, Heidi.
Oh, what's that?
You don't get what you expect, you get what you inspect. So, did you ask to see the assignments?
You can't see the assignments.
What do you mean you can't see them?
You send it in, and then it's gone. It's on the iPad. Goes, bye.
Well, can't you see who they sent it to? Is it like email? Does it have like a...
No, it's not like that. It's bizarre.
They don't have like a return receipt thing?
I have no idea. Here again.
You didn't inspect it.
Oh, I have my own job to do.
You have a job.
My child has her job to do.
Making circles, Heidi.
That's what it feels like. She should do her job and know her role. And I clothe her, I feed her, I provide a roof over her head. Her duty is to do her work and turn it in.
Yes, you're right.
And it's not the conventional way anymore. So you don't get a ditto sheet. It's not
you don't?
No.
No check marks?
No, nothing like that. So then the parent is stuck in between. I turned it in, and then I didn't get it, and then check the parent portal. And don't call me next week.
What is a parent portal?
Exactly what it sounds like. It's
you go down a rabbit hole?
You go in, you log into the system, and you can see what assignments are missing and if they've been graded, but she swears she turned it in, but it doesn't show that it turned in. It's
bizarre.
Yeah, I'm just burned out by the whole thing. I'm burned out. Maybe we'll regroup after the new year, but just don't call me. Or even
no, you don't want to hear it.
No, I don't. I don't want to hear it.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want the call from the Spanish teacher.
Well, listen, I think these children, are being robbed of their childhood and their horrible. Child education.
And that was what she said the other day.
Yeah.
We were talking about my grandmother and how difficult it's got to be for her. That she's 90, and Lydia pipes in and says, "Look at me." She says, "I'm supposed to be having the time of my life."
That's right. It is the time of her life.
First year of high school. She hasn't stepped foot in school.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's listen. I couldn't imagine. I mean, school was the focal point of our existence.
It was.
It really was. I mean, everything was, based
it all
around
revolved
school.
Around.
Right. Everything revolved around school, events, things you're going to do.
Typically, she would have been getting on the school bus while I was leaving to come here to the show.
Yeah.
I'd wait, put her on, she'd get on the bus. I'd be here, at 3 o'clock. She'd come through the door, snacks.
Yeah.
I'm starving. There's no food in this house. But,
yeah, I can see that.
It's just, And I, listen, I know I'm not that special to think that I'm the only parent feeling this way.
Oh, listen.
And, maybe I'm the only honest one to put it out there like I am right now, but I'm burned out with the whole thing, and I'm hitting a wall.
How do you think the teachers feel? Do you think?
Horrible. I feel horrible for the teachers because one of the issues is they want her Zoom camera on. So I'm there in the room going, put your camera on, and she's like, I'm not putting my camera on. And we're fighting, and then I look at her screen. And there's like maybe one student out of 18 that has their camera on.
Why don't they put their camera on?
I don't know and then she's not going to put her camera on because the other 17 students don't have their camera on. And then I'm fighting about putting the camera on, and then I'm screaming, and then she's like, my microphone is on, and I can't. So it's really a disaster. And I feel really bad for the teachers teaching to the blank Zoom screen. And then someone hijacks, like every other class, there's somebody blurting out something that's very inappropriate.
Really?
And the teacher can't do anything because they can't tell what student it is or what. I don't even know. So I feel bad for the teachers. They're not getting they do this because it's their passion.
Wow, it's a job too. Make no mistake. If you look at the teachers, listen, the city is going through all sorts of ups and downs, and finally being reported that the teachers just don't want school open. I mean, listen.
I'll reserve my comments about
exactly.
That. But there's oftentimes I'm screaming like, "Why aren't you on? They canceled the class," and I'm like, "Now how do I, as a parent, check to see if the class was canceled?"
Right.
I just throw my hands up, and I don't know anymore. So
yeah. No, I get it. I have a nephew who has a 10-year-old and a 8-year-old, and Johanna and Lewis, and they live in the city. And they talked about outside classes, they talked about inside classes. They have the right not to send them to school, to do remote learning. No, it's like all these stuff like these decisions that I quite frankly don't understand. I don't just get them out of the house, But because that's where they have their socialization. That's where they understand what,
the sad part was
grace.
I decided early from the get-go to keep Lydia home for our own reasons.
Right,
within my
I understand.
household. However, she has a friend and a cousin, a couple of her friends, and primarily her cousin, who decided to go the hybrid model, which would be like equivalent to 4 times a month. Because just like you're thinking, they would get some form of interaction. Yet he found when he went there was nobody else there. So
Isn't that crazy?
in his gym class, it's like literally him and his gym teacher. Like
really
the most awkward thing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of awkward.
Nobody wants that. No offense against the gym teacher, but you were there to hopefully get some interaction. But even when you're in the school doing the hybrid, it doesn't look like what we.
Yeah.
You eat at your own little desk.
Right.
You can't interact. You can't talk to your friends. You have to put your mask right back on when you're done. It's just. So anyway, that's that.
Yeah. Gee, you don't realize how much there is to it.
No, you really don't.
And again, I'm not trying to be a jerk or be old about it, but I can't even imagine.
No, my grandmother said that to me too. She says, I can't imagine, because a regular day was hard.
Right.
And then you throw this. And then for me, luckily, my job transitioned to being at home. So I am home. And Wayne was always home by 10, 11 o'clock anyway. But there's parents who this is a total disruption to their lives, their livelihood. They have to go to work. They don't have kids that are self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So just a total disaster.
No,
I can't talk about that no more. It gets me fluffy.
Does it really?
Yeah.
You guys ready to go to break?
Oh, we need to go to a break now.
Yep. Yeah, because Kenny's calling it at 7:30. So, they're ish.
So, all right. So we'll be back in a few.
Okay.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
This is Greg Chorvis, and once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Rondout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at the Kiwanis Ice Arena in Saugerties. Thank you very much, and have a happy and Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from the town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
And we're back. Good morning, Ulster County.
Here we are, back
Heidi
again.
and Len.
There we go. So anyway, we're just talking about Christmas dinner and stuff like that and how different it's going to be, you know? And it is. We have hope to God that Terry's parents make it in for Maryland. They're older, so they've been hunkered down. They got a wonderful neighbor who's been helping them with the shopping and stuff, which is great. And her dad gets out and about. But, things is really weird, our big night was Christmas Eve with my family, and that's not going to happen. So, again, 2020 has just been a year of interesting little issues.
Yeah.
We're going to have honey baked ham, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Will they bring that?
Of course they're going to bring it. Come on, that's like a
Honey-baked
staple.
ham.
That's like, you have to have that on Christmas Day. Yeah. But anyway, it happens. So what do you think that's going to be with the budget? I mean, waiting for Kenny to call in. I mean, and obviously he'll give us an update as you will.
Well,
but is it a lot of contingencies going on of what goes on, or who's getting money, or why they should be getting money, and it's got to be so difficult to pick and choose.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible. This was a very difficult budget session.
Was it really?
And and I don't expect the average person to understand what all goes into a budget, preparing a budget in a normal fiscal year. But to do it in a pandemic like what we had was very, very difficult. There were a lot of difficult decisions that had to be made, and Kenny was really at the forefront of beating back a lot of different things as well.
Uh-huh.
And, we signed the budget the other day. I don't know if you
I saw your picture in the paper. Yeah, actually, they took a good picture of you.
Yeah.
Wasn't like that nasty picture they had.
No, it wasn't a bad angle.
What was that angle? Who was that? What was that?
Photo?
Yeah, the bad photo.
Well, the bad photo was taken by, I won't say their name because I don't want to really call them out, but they know who they are.
Yeah, yeah.
And, it's a little joke between us. But that bad picture day was a great day, though. That was when the county signed term limits.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so that was a great day. It was like 900 degrees. It was
Really?
a beautiful day. Yeah, that was a beautiful day. So aside from the bad angle, I was like the Rockefeller Christmas tree. You get one bad angle.
She needs some branches.
Subsequently, though, that one bad angle shot ended up on a mailer.
I know.
And it got sent to 50,000 people.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. But that same photographer was there the other day, and I said, remember the bad angle? I'm like, this is my better side right here, so let's not do a bad angle.
Oh, you're so funny.
But yeah, and honestly, that actual photo really represented the bipartisanship that went into this budget.
Yeah.
we worked together across party lines.
You have to
come up with a sound budget that we could, all, and I'm not using the words be proud of, but I'm proud of the work we did.
Right.
We came up with a sound budget, but it was very, very challenging, especially with some of the contract for services agencies, the nonprofits that we work with.
Are they under a lot of pressure, Heidi? Some of these agencies because of the COVID,
Sure, I would imagine that they are. Think about it. Libraries and the arts.
Yeah.
And
no one's going to a library. I mean,
no, that's really not true because that's what we think in our head, right?
Right.
But libraries are so much more than when I grew up. There's these online subscriptions that if you have a library card that you can log into and utilize.
Right.
You can read magazines and
precisely,
learn different languages, and so it's.
How many people would
a lot.
Really, a lot of people use them.
I can't. I'm not.
Terry's mother's a big library person. I mean that.
Our libraries are one of those things I really had no problem fully supporting.
Right.
When it came down to it.
Some of them are taxi entities as well, aren't they? Have their own budgets.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we fund. It's a Ulster County Library Association.
I see.
So it's all the libraries.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Huh.
So, yeah.
No, I listen.
And the theme. There was a lot of they did really good during the COVID, and they really supported during the COVID, and that was something that I struggled with because a lot of people were asked to go above and beyond.
Yeah, of course.
During this pandemic,
yeah,
and it's
true.
like I'd love to give equally to everyone, but at the same time, we're just not in a position to.
No, it's a tough. That's why I asked about sales tax. It's there's so many things that go into a budget. You have the money that you don't use from contingency fund, the money that you do use from the contingency fund, how much money is going to be used from the contingency fund. It's really challenging. It's really, 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 really a challenging time.
Well, we did tap into the tax stabilization.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure how that works moving forward, but we were able to pass that, and it was important to me because some of the regulations regarding using the tax stabilization fund, which kind of looks like a rainy day fund.
Right. It's raining.
Yeah, and we know it's raining. We can't go into next year and say, "Hey, it was a flood."
Right.
And
right.
Because the law states that it should be used for unknown purposes, and that would have reflected this past year, not moving forward. So that's what the importance was.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's that. So, but hopefully Kenny will call in.
How long has Well, I mean, again, light at the end of the tunnel, the vaccine, all this other stuff. So, let's say it goes through the summertime when most normal people will still be able to get vaccine or whatever. Let's call it that for a quick second. Here in Ulster County, as we were talking about earlier, we'll probably have the Moderna because we don't have the capability to use the Pfizer because of the cold stuff and that. So, it's coming soon.
Pull that closer to you, maybe.
What's that? Oh, it's coming soon. So, but again, let's hope that by the summertime we have this nice and flat, and we move forward, and when we go into the fall and next winter, in good shape to even this whole thing out a little bit. So, the money you're spending now through these funds probably makes sense because again, it looks like it's going to help and straighten itself out at the end of the day. It's really funny. We were talking about the Kingstonian.
Yes.
Right. And the night we talked about, I said, I wish the county executive would weigh in and all this wonderful stuff, right? Well, that night on Channel 6 News, Spectrum News, I guess you call it, he came out and said, well, it's not my place to weigh in on this. And so, of course, I called Danny Savono, who's on the IDA, and I think they're moving to figure out what they're going to do, whether they vote against or for or with or whatever, how they're going to do this issue. But it is a good project. And it was funny how we talked about how we need our elected officials to weigh in. Mm-hmm. And here's poor Pat saying, I don't want to really weigh in. But it's difficult.
Well, it's difficult.
This is a political issue, and it shouldn't be.
Well, it's difficult to navigate. Yeah, and I get it. But I fully support it.
I get it.
And it was funny because I actually did receive, I'll call it 2 calls right after that article, right after the school vote, from two of my constituents. I mean, I received hundreds of emails.
Did you really?
Mostly in support of. I did receive some, who did not.
Going to us. That's what how the world goes around.
Yeah, but two lovely people from the town of Hurley. I don't know if they were lifelong, but boy, they went back to Uptown Kingston when, they could name some of, London's and Yalom's and, some of the shops that were here. And they said, we just really need this. And I could really feel where they were coming from with their comments. And I agreed they wanted to know what they could do to, and, they had a little community, they would do a virtual community meeting. And I have to say, definitely, I support it as well. Because it's not about this project.
No, it's not. No, it's about growth.
It's about the future.
Yep, it's about growth. No question about it. Yeah. It's funny, but in Sullivan right now, I mean, there's one building being built 123,000 square feet. And the developer is got approvals going in, making, they're building it. And they are now looking to bring two large companies in, not to be named right now. But the fact of the matter is that we have to figure out a way to...
Listen, if anybody doesn't want to believe that other developers aren't watching how this project goes down...
Of course.
No,
it's that time. It is definitely that time that... we have to do something, and then there's the other argument to what's happening to all the retail space with online buying, right?
Oh my goodness! Speaking about online buying, that's what I've been doing a lot.
Well, I got to tell you something.
I did all my shopping online.
Did you? Got to be really careful. I have a friend who ordered flea collars for a dog online through Amazon. Well, they came in, and the package came from China. I wish I would get my phone, but there were little baby worms in it, in the packaging.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, weird is not to say, it's strange. But we don't, we really have to be conscious of where this stuff is coming from.
Well, I really tried to, because we spoke about this the last time I was on. I'm one of those weird shoppers that, needs to feel stuff and see.
Yeah, of course.
So I ordered from, what I thought were, LL Bean.
Right, exactly.
I know their
quality
because you know their quality. For the most part.
Well, used to know their quality for sure.
And I mean, I haven't been out much. I went one day. I think it was back on Monday. I did make a trip to Walmart. There's little stocking stuffers and things that you have to get in your wrapping paper. But for the most part, I mean, it's really kind of sad because my kids fill up an Amazon cart or whatever their, the cart for the store that they're wanting to shop from. And then, I go in and I, run the credit card and then buy it all. Or
That's funny.
So it's hard because I don't know if they go back in and see if the cart's empty now, but it's hard to, it's hard with technology to make surprises for them.
Yeah.
Bryce is almost 19 years old.
Yeah, I think he was a little past
Well, I
surprises.
say to him, you better let me know what you want because time's running out. I have to order everything. And then he'll say, well, what's the limit? I'm like, what?
Well, here's the question. We just right-sized.
Yeah, you did.
Right? And I can't tell you how many items, stuff, whatever you want to call it, that we either gave away, we did with it. How much stuff is enough stuff? What do you need?
Listen, not a lot. Do you
Not a
remember all
lot.
those
You
months that I
really
would spend
don't.
in a camper?
Yeah.
You don't need a lot.
You don't need a lot.
Pots, pans, none of it. You
Yeah.
don't. I find stuff annoying. Do you know what I did last year?
What'd you do?
I probably got rid of 75 to 80% of the clothes that I had in my closet.
Oh, God, you don't even know what I just went through. How many clothes I gave away.
I had 6 of those big giant black bags.
Yeah.
Which that was really, I mean, it felt so liberating. And
Right.
then I said, I did it, in the winter last year, maybe January-ish, thinking that I'd be shopping this spring.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well.
Right, it didn't go so good.
No, today I wanted to wear this Christmas sweater.
Right.
I remember debating
What happened? Should I keep it or should I get rid of it?
Yeah, how does this sweater make me feel? You know, I did all that. It touched the condo.
The condo there.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. So I had to decide, because they had these, you know, they had matching leggings that went with it. I said I should not wear these ever again, the leggings. But the sweater was cute, and it had a little reindeer on it. So I was tearing through the closet today, which I only have 5 sweaters now. I did not keep that. Which I was really surprised. But
well, at least you know you shouldn't have gotten rid of it.
Nice. See, this is
very nice. Got a little place for your thumbs.
Yeah, keep my hands warm.
Keeps your hands warm.
But yeah, it was difficult to, you know, I realized I had gotten rid of all my clothes. And I couldn't go shopping this year.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. You don't realize.
But with kids, do you know what that's like?
I'm sure.
Because I've finally gotten to the point, especially with Bryce. It's been 2 full years. He doesn't grow.
Right.
You know, he's not real big into his own fashion. Lydia, it's like, you know, I'm like, you've worn this twice. You're really going to get rid of it? I don't want it any, you know.
Oh, no.
But
she's a fashionista, huh?
You don't do it twice a year with children, you are overwhelmed.
Really?
Yeah, and luckily we do have a nice family that we donated all our stuff to.
That's cool.
When the, you know, Christmas dresses.
Yeah.
And the girls that we would give Lydia stuff to were always so happy.
Yeah,
it's all gently worn also, so. But yeah, you don't need a lot of stuff.
So I think that it's funny, we got this induction cooktop.
Yes.
I absolutely love, by the way.
Yeah.
It cooks so even. It's easy to keep clean. It's really great. But I realized the huge scam, because we need not only magnetic pots, right? That's how it works, through magnetism. That's how it heats up. So I can't tell you how many pots and pans we had, right? You know, big frying pans, small frying pans that go on rocks. So we had all these frying pans. We don't need it, right? So now I start looking for the ones that we, you know, these all-clad things, D5 or whatever they are. So I said to her, why are we getting sets? We don't need half of this stuff. So I selectively got what I needed, you know, a big frying pan, a small frying pan, a big pot, you know, whatever. And it boiled down to very few items, you know, and a couple of cast iron things I like, because I like to cook with cast iron.
Can you cook with cast iron on that?
Sure, they're magnetic.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, they're steel. Yeah. It works well.
Good.
Yeah, I make bread, believe it or not, stovetop. It comes fabulous.
Ooh,
yeah, really good. I can definitely make that. But my point is that we're so used to buying, like, you know, the sets of and the things of. It's like, you know, it's harsh.
Yeah, it's a waste.
And we don't have as big a place to put stuff anymore, so we really have to be very conscious of our storage space. Yeah, it's a good feeling. I have to tell you, it's
liberating.
It is. You know, I'm a big audiophile. I have all this great, you know, audio equipment, right? And I've had it for years. I've always been into music, and I have a great record collection. And I have to say that I have something called Spotify now.
Yeah, don't even miss it.
And I have it, you know, hooked up to the, you know, house system. And I can listen to anything I want, but just by, you know, searching for it and play it. My ears are shot, you know, I mean.
That's the same thing with Audible. You don't need the books.
Well, see, I have a feeling about I can't read.
You can't listen? You need to read it?
Actually, I could listen and read it, but I just can't listen.
It doesn't count. You can't.
I can't get it.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, there's no difference in my body to be able to watch a movie and not fall asleep, or listen to an audiobook and not fall asleep. Really bad.
Yeah, that happens.
Really bad. So, but I like to sit there and read.
But the fact that we don't have to keep books in our house is nice.
You don't like books.
I don't like stuff.
You don't like stuff. I know you don't. I know. I can't wait for you to visit this place. You'll love it.
Yeah.
It's like living in It's like living in an apartment again.
I don't have to drive with my paddleboard on the top of my car, though.
We'll figure it out, Heidi.
No. Remember, I told you that there's someone local that's driving around still with their.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, mine's stored.
Oh, good. Mine is too.
Actually, I have 2.
Do you?
Yeah, I bought one for Lydia, too.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see more of her, and I don't know about Bryce, but certainly her this year.
Yeah, Bryce will come up with his crew.
That's fine. I'm good with those kids. You know that. You know, I only met Joey a couple of times more than a couple of times from the skateboard park, but
He goes for his PET scan today.
I know.
Yes, we got.
It was postponed. Imagine, we all have to think about families that are coping with like, even Paul Hansen. I could name names. It's a long list, unfortunately. But we should all pray for those people.
Childhood cancer. I almost wish that they would work as hard at getting funding for that as they are on a stimulus package.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine.
Yeah, well, it's that kind of a deal. Think about fighting this for how many years now? 5 years they've been fighting this? 4 or 5 years. Right? And then someone said, the machine is broken. You have to come back. It's like, what?
Yeah, the wait, and then it ruins your holiday. And
Yeah.
complaining about a teacher phone call. And
yeah, exactly.
people are waiting on life and death type.
Yeah. Well, not life and death, but certainly life and health. Yeah. We want good health. We want, we want all that stuff. And it's a wild roller coaster ride for these families. Completely. Yeah. But, again, the big but is, once again, here we go. How lucky or where are we, what we're doing with ourselves. But anyway, where's Kenny? This is typical of our show, bud.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, the listeners might not appreciate it, but they could also call in too.
They can.
I text him.
Did Ken stand you up?
No, he'll call in probably at some point, but if not, then yes, he would have.
If not, you could just have him call in at 8:05 because there's like 3 or 4 birthdays in there.
Birthdays to do?
We have birthdays to do. We have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so have him call in after birthdays, and then we'll just skip the 8:30 break, and you guys can go right on and talk to 8:50 or whatever.
Yep.
And then I'll do the break then.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I just
Might be on a call.
Harry just informed me.
Drives the ambulance, so.
We found the checkbook. That's a long story. Everything is like little stuff is still packed.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Horrible. I don't understand what
How
horrible
much
is.
of that stuff will just stay packed?
No, it's not. No, one thing I got to tell you, the things that are going to stay packed right now, because I'm really very seriously considering giving my nephew a lot of my stereo equipment. My speakers and a couple of things that are really, 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 really good. It's great stuff. But because I don't know if I want to clutter the house.
You like that now, right?
I do, Heidi. I have to tell you.
Yeah, it's been like since 2011.
Yeah.
Well, definitely 2014. She was on the mission to downsize. So it's only taken you 6 years to think that you might not need that stereo equipment.
Hey, I'm a very slow.
Apparently.
I'm slow to pull the trigger.
Apparently.
Yep. But it's we don't need stuff is the bottom line. That's why I was basically asking you. You have these lists and you buy this stuff and the kids want the stuff. It's like what does a 19-year-old need?
T-shirts.
Good.
Underwear.
Good. Exactly. Socks. The staples.
Skateboarding now.
Is he really?
Yeah. I told you he took that ride up to Liberty Skate
That's
Park.
cool.
Yeah, he didn't enjoy it so much, so drove to be a teenager to drive up to Liberty.
Yeah, and then drive back to Saugerties.
And say, yeah, this was nice. Met a few nice friends up there. Actually,
Yeah.
He did meet some people that lived up there. He said the guys were nice. But then was like, yeah, this isn't as good as the Saugerties skate park. So they.
It's really funny because from my perspective.
I would be so tired. I would be asleep by the time I got to Saugerties.
From my perspective, it was really cool because at skate time we had the Liberty kids, the Albany kids, the Saugerties kids.
That must have been nice for everybody.
Oh, it was really, and they all knew each other. Bryce is gonna find out that they all know each other. They have their own little. There's a I'm calling Facebook type of thing that they all travel in, and they do things together. That community is probably the most. The skateboarding part of Skate Time was probably the most interesting part to watch, because it was complete socialization. You know, all the time. I mean, they knew they always talk about the events they went to, about what Red Bull's doing. We had Red Bull twice. You know, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but they were big events. You know, it's.
Bryce decides to skate after all that.
Well, yeah, I know, and unfortunately, you know, with the pandemic, the poor guy hasn't even opened. But that's another issue. These businesses. You know, now they're closing restaurants again in the city.
Yeah, New York City.
Yeah. Well, the strangest thing that I found out.
My mom's down to 2 days a week now.
Is she really?
It's okay though, because it mitigates, her exposure, and
Right.
it helps keep somebody else. Like they're trying to give everybody something.
I gotcha.
So, they're not closing, which is fine, but things are slowing down. The restaurant business, I'm sure a lot of them are seeing it and feeling it, and. She's, her boss is great, and, we want to keep this person going, so are you
Right.
willing to give up because this person can't survive? And my mother,
Could she
yes.
collect unemployment for the time she's not working? Heidi?
She could go back to partial unemployment at some point, but she wouldn't do that until, last time around it was 1 day a week. Then she has to.
Right.
She can't survive on 1 day.
Right. No.
At one point, I had 2 parents that were out of jobs. My dad's a bus driver.
Yeah.
So he's continuing to work right now, and mom's down to 2 days. And, but when she, she was planning ahead.
Right.
We all kind of knew that this was, and they're fortunate enough to be able to do that.
Right.
So, yeah, so she's only there Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wow.
She gave up yesterday was her first Thursday home. So, yeah.
No, it's listen, all these restaurants, Little Italy, every one of them, like you said, they're being supported by people doing takeout. They have, a small percentage of people that are coming into the restaurants and sitting down to eat.
But they're saying the restaurant's not the spreader. It's the small
Right.
household gatherings.
Of course. Like, we look at Terry's parents, they're coming in from Maryland to New York State, staying at a house, but that's only 2 people. But imagine if, it was more than that.
Like Christmas at my house.
Like Thanksgiving at your house.
Yeah, it's your Christmas. Christmas is
Christmas
crazy.
was bigger?
Oh, yeah.
For my family, a lot of them spread out now. Florida, Arizona, whatever, but Texas. But the big thing for us, like Christmas morning, was if you didn't have the kids or they were gone, you'd be the drop-ins. Drop in for breakfast.
And that's what I do on Christmas Day is an open house. It's all day
Right.
long. So
That's-
some come for the appetizer and then
Right.
they go to their in-laws, and some come for dinner.
Right.
and then
That's
some
what we had,
show up
too.
Late because we're up all night.
Right.
They come for dessert, and we have a lot of people that sleep over.
Right.
Aunt Jody, she always sleeps over.
How's she doing, Jody, speaking?
She's great. She's up at Mohonk.
Is
so-
she like it?
Oh yeah, she loves it. But again, even that looks different.
Speaking of which, we had our wedding. Terry and I got married at the end of Stone Ridge.
Yeah.
And
so did I.
You did too. That's so funny. But Jody was bartending there for a little while, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And now she winds up there.
Well, she hasn't been there for a long time. She went from there to Asia.
Oh, Asia. That's right. She was in Asia.
Yeah. After the pandemic, she never picked back up Asia. They didn't open.
No, they're not open.
So Jody's been at Mohonk now 2 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How are they doing? Are they busy?
Not like, they're
Like
feeling it.
before.
Yeah, they're feeling it. I mean, they have guests, sure, but, they're feeling it.
Really?
They have changed even for their employees as well. And
Really?
they're doing what they have to do to continue.
You don't hear too much about them. You hear, like, you see the advertisements. They're in all the destination
There's a lot of changes,
magazines.
but they're doing the best that they can do to
Wow.
keep everyone going and keep Mohonk is like such a magical place to be.
Oh, it is. Harry and I go every Easter.
Oh, Easter, yeah.
Easter Sunday. That's our
Usually
place
up
to
there
go.
this time of the year.
Yeah, we take people up there this time of year.
And they have the gingerbread house
Right.
contest. But that's online. You could take that virtually. They showed little videos of each
It's
gingerbread house, and
beautiful.
you can vote virtually. So I do miss my little winter.
Butch Denner used to be a greeter there.
Who did?
Butch Denner.
Oh, Butch. Oh,
Yeah,
I'd love
yeah.
to just be the greeter.
Yeah, he used to be a greeter. A couple of people we know were greeters up there.
Nice. But yeah, they're the whole lodging industry.
Yeah.
And they're all struggling right now. We had on the floor of the legislature, well, virtually,
Right.
the Pine Ridge.
Oh yeah, how are they doing?
He's, like he said, they're gearing up again to go, doing everything that they can do to,
Right.
they'll be going, kind of like they're going back down again.
Yeah.
They'll do what they have to do, but. All right, well, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to do our birthdays.
Birthdays. How many birthdays do we have today?
Couple.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Someone in your town, at your school, or where you work is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they can't even get out of bed. Chances are someone you know has Crohn's or colitis. Someone like me. I'm Amy Brenneman, and I'm asking you to support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help millions of us cope and to find cures. Visit ccfa.org today to learn more. Help someone you know get back to their lives at ccfa.org.
This is Nina Postupak. Once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Roundout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at Cantine Field and Saugerties. Thank you and have a happy Christmas.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive.
And we're back with
here we are.
Heidi and Len, and it's our birthday time.
It is birthday
We're
time.
going to have you kick off our birthday time.
You got it.
First birthday.
Well, it was called in today, and it's for Friday, December 18th. Happy birthday to Richard McCormick. Now, here's the best part. He's 95 years young.
5.
And it's from all of his family. Isn't that wonderful?
That's wonderful.
It really
He's Joe
is.
Biden's age.
Yeah. All right.
Happy birthday, Richard.
Happy
That's
birthday, Rich. Have a great day. And he is the winner of the Boyce Dairy Milk House Cow Pie and Kingston Community Radio.
Well, enjoy that cow pie, Richard. And I'm up next with a birthday for Saturday, December 19th. We'd like to wish Shirley Valentine a very happy birthday from your friends at the Girls Night Out Book Club. Happy birthday, Shirley Valentine.
And who's the winner, Heidi?
And Shirley is apparently the only entry, so she is the winner of the famous Boyce Brothers famous cow pie for December 19th, Shirley Valentine. Enjoy your cow pie, Shirley.
And for the 20th, we have Joan Mitzner from your friends at Wellness and Health Lifestyle Club. That must be a nice place to go. Health and
wellness.
Yeah, wellness. That's a great place. Well, happy birthday, Joan. And the winner is Joan Mitzer for the Boyce Mill Milk Cows Cow Pie.
Happy birthday,
happy
Joan.
birthday. Moo. I did moo. A dying cow. No.
Like that, we did birthday.
That was really cool.
Birthday to anyone else who's
Every time I hear a 95-year-old, it's so wonderful. Great stuff.
Oh, yeah,
it really is.
90 recently.
What do you got there, Heidi? Any events?
We have the Wreaths Across America at the Saugerties VFW Post 5034, sponsoring a trip to Saratoga National Cemetery for Saturday, December 19th. So I'm pretty sure you would have had to have locked this down already, but if you'd like to get in touch with the Saugerties VFW Post 5034, you can call Bob Howe, 845-246-8510.
That was nice.
Yeah.
December birthdays are tough birthdays. They always feel cheated or something, right?
Oh, my brother-in-law is on December 26th.
Yeah.
That's probably got to be the worst birthday.
Yeah, it's a tough one, you know. It
Well,
is.
my mother-in-law couldn't go into labor on Christmas Day, so she
Yep.
held that off as long as she could.
Yep.
She had a house full of guests. Oh, and he didn't make it to the hospital either. He was born in the car.
Was he
He
really?
was born at home. His youngest brother, who came after him, was born in the car on his way to Ellenville Hospital.
Really?
Yeah, that was a mess.
That was a mess. that was sloppy. It was not good.
Yeah, Wayne's birth certificate says Town of Rochester. As
Does it really?
Yeah.
Isn't
I wonder
that
how
cool?
many of those are out there.
Not very many.
Probably not.
That's, yeah, he's an original, huh?
Jody got sent across the street to I think Mrs. Wicks came over, and Ronnie, his older sister, helped.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny. I know exactly where that is.
Oh, you do know where that is.
Sure. Rochester Center Road.
Rochester Center Road.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Mrs. Wicks was their babysitter.
I didn't know
neighbor.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
She used to come she loved roller skating.
She delivered Wayne. Now you know.
That is so cool. Wow.
I know, it's crazy.
It is crazy. But so Wayne is still dealing with the bread route like crazy, huh?
Yeah, that got really messed up yesterday.
Well, I'm sure everything got messed up
But
yesterday.
the thing with that is, prior to the last maybe 4 or 5 years, they never, ever shut the thruway down, really.
Really?
No. So the bread was able to make it from the bakery down, got to the
Right.
dock by midnight and loaded, he was able to pick up his bread. But I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but he went over early the day before and picked some of the stuff up. And then now today, things are switched around. But don't worry, there's plenty of bread.
No, it's interesting you say that because I was shopping up by us, up in Sullivan County at the trading post. I stopped there. I literally had to get like milk. I didn't need bread. But there was a big sign from Bread Alone. There was no delivery, for 2 days or whatever. And I found it strange, but now I understand because they're right on.
Well, no, they make their bread
Right.
here, so
Right.
I don't know what their deal was, but
Okay. But in terms of delivery, they couldn't make deliveries.
Wayne's, comes from Albany down
Gotcha.
on double trailers,
Right.
to the depots.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I watched him as he pulled out yesterday. He went out late. The man's
Right.
usually out in the before the sun comes up,
Yeah.
way before the sun comes up. But he plowed himself out of the driveway and then started up that bread truck. And I'm looking out the window and I'm like, there he goes.
Yeah. He's the hardest worker that I know my whole life. He does.
He drives me crazy.
He doesn't stop, and he always has a smile on his face.
I know, he does. How are you? Good. Because you can't talk to everyone.
He really has a smile on his face all the time.
Yeah, he's out of there. Shoot, what are you trying to say about me?
Well, you have a smile on your face most of the time. Unless you get fluffy.
Yeah, then I don't.
Then we don't.
Then I don't.
Yeah, the fluffy side of Heidi. No. But no. So what do you think is going to happen in earnest, like with the county and development? Do you think they're going to be able to? You have no talking.
I can only hope that it will. I think it'll be good for our county.
Yeah.
You know, I can only hope that it will. The IDA's got to figure out. You know,
it's really funny because
where they're at.
The only thing we talked about when I spoke to Danny, this project labor agreements, right? And
PLAs.
Right, PLAs. And I'm not understanding why the union is fighting this so much, because they want prevailing wage. Yeah, well, I want a lot of things too. But PLA works just as well. When you build resorts, casino, I can't tell you how many projects that are done outside this county with PLAs. It's sickening. But yet, in Ulster County, we have to have prevailing wage. Tell me why. It's really is a little unnerving.
Remember when we were doing the project at the firehouse? That was the first time that was my first experience with prevailing wage.
Well, that's because that's a taxing entity. Yeah. And that's fine.
I know it's a bit different, but nonetheless,
You were shocked.
Shocked because you can imagine something in your head of what you thought you were going to be able to afford to build.
No, you double the cost, basically. And I'm not just trying to say that's not a rub, by the way. I think prevailing wage is a good thing. Prevailing wage is a good thing in the right environment. You see, when we have a situation where we have a development that's the size that we're talking about, certainly a PLA is the way to go. Now, it's not 100% prevailing wage, but there are a lot of concessions made back, that the developers have to meet to. And there's no reason why we should not be able to accomplish that. And, it's sickening to say that we sit in a place right now, and I say sickening because we need growth, we need jobs, we need, you're talking of just general growth. So it is what it is, but we'll get past that too.
Okay, we're going to be joined by Minority Leader Ken Ronk. Good morning,
That's
Ken.
a good thing.
Good morning, guys. Sorry for my tardiness. I ran into some trouble, but everything's all good.
You good?
As long as you're okay, Kenny.
What's that?
As long as you're okay.
Oh, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Good.
Good. Well, thanks.
How are you folks this morning?
We're great.
We're freezing.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I got my sweater on. I'm happy.
I'm good. I'm really good. I feel like we've done a lot of hard work, and this is kind of like a nice reprieve for us, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Reprieve is that's a loaded thought.
Yeah. Nonetheless, it's been quite a few weeks for us in the Ulster County Legislature, and we finally concluded with the signing of the budget on Tuesday. That was that felt good.
Indeed, it was a proud moment, especially because the budget doesn't raise taxes, but it does continue to invest in our hardworking county workforce. There was a big push this year in the budget to sort of take out our financial troubles on certain employees, and I think that we beat back a lot of those attempts. So
good. Very good to hear, Kenny. Can you give us an example? Is it appropriate or not?
What do you mean?
An example of what you're saying, like what was the feeling? What was the movement in terms of raises and not raises?
Well, the clawback was one thing.
There were some raises that were, quite frankly, our caucus spent hours and hours diligently going through the backup information to figure out which raises the executive was able to, and the other department heads were able to justify and which ones they weren't.
Right.
And, we made some amendments, and, our amendments were not, wholly successful. But we had some success, on some of them. So,
right.
But the Democrats, this year, their whole point was raises, no raises. Last year, they had no problem with several raises that were in excess of 2%, 5%, 19%. And my point was, if we're against raises, then we're against raises.
Right.
So you need to go back and alter those ones that you guys had no problem with last year.
Yep.
Yeah. But overall, I think the budget's a really good product. I think that we're going to have, we're going to have some more tough decisions to make this year. It's not good with the governor looking like he's getting ready to shut down indoor dining again statewide. We're going to have businesses shutting down. People aren't going to be able to pay their taxes. Employees are going to lose their jobs. Hopefully, Washington gets their act together and passes the stimulus.
They have no choice, Kenny. They have no choice, I don't think. I really believe that.
I mean, they've had no choice for several months, and that hasn't mattered.
I know. I get it. But I'm hoping it's always 25th hour, as you know. Sometimes that's how this world works. But I just, like in terms of sales tax, it's funny. Because Terry's involvement in Orange, Sullivan, I understand a little bit. They all were very surprised at sales tax being more than they thought it was going to be. How was it here in Ulster?
We didn't lose as much as we expected.
Same thing. I get the same answer.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, that I live in an area of the county where there's an enormous amount of agritourism. We've got a lot of farms down here.
Right.
We've got a lot of breweries, wineries, and we have September through November when the leaf people descend on Ulster County, and it can snarl traffic and it can make things a little difficult sometimes. And one thing I always say to myself out loud as I'm driving down the road is, they're good for the economy. They're good for the economy.
That's right.
And quite frankly, they, again this year, were good for the economy.
Yeah.
They came back, and I think that's where a lot of our sales tax revenue, we were able to realize in order to not be as far in the hole as we expected to, was able to come from.
Interesting. Well, thank goodness. It's. I guess the other thing in terms of funding different, non-for-profits, for-profit services. Did that change in your mind as much as you thought it was going to be, or I'm sure everyone's asking for money?
Well, Kenny and I have Kenny especially really took the lead in trying to change the way we fund these non-for-profits recently, because it's quite honestly, I don't want to say a little bit all over the place, but it's just like, for me, it's been a bone of contention. That was one of the more challenging things this year as well, right, Ken?
It was, and there are certain points in the budget where you feel like folks forget that we're in the middle of a tight budget when they're coming in with increases for all of these contract agencies.
Right.
I'll tell you this. One of the things that we fund is the People's Place. It's the second year we funded them. My concern there is that there are probably hundreds of food pantries alone throughout the county.
That's right.
And they're all struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kingston-centric one is the People's Place. Not only in Kingston, they serve the greater Kingston area. They serve into Hurley, Saugerties, Ulster, et cetera, et cetera. But, I can tell you that the food pantry here in Walkill, down the street from my house, the Loaves and Fishes food pantry at the Walkill Reformed Church, had almost double the number of Thanksgiving baskets this year than they had last year.
Yep.
And they're not benefiting from, county tax dollars. And one thing I've said when I get up and talk on the floor of the legislature on the budget, especially with things like this, is, that, this is the time of year when I start to feel like I'm an inadequate legislator because, I don't see the county budget as my personal checkbook to write to not-for-profits in my district.
Right.
Right. And I just don't put money in for things like that.
Yeah.
The only thing I've ever really sponsored was for the Walker Valley Fire District, and that was in order for them to be able to, to agree to use their fire training center as a county fire training center until we built our,
right.
county fire training center that we have now. And again, Heidi hit the nail on the head. We worked hard to reduce a lot of the amounts of money this year that are going to go to these places to really make thoughtful decisions on it rather than emotional decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these organizations, they're really deserving organizations. But the struggle is that there are deserving organizations all over the county that aren't getting funded.
Well, that's right.
Fundraising.
You make a valid point. Every year Terry and I sit down kind of at I call it the kitchen table conversation about our donations for the year. And, it's the Red Cross, it's, this fund. And this year, for the first time ever, we just stayed local. And I mean that we bought 5 Thanksgiving dinners. We did, we have Rock Hill Fire Company, Accord Fire Company. We did just it's really a handful of things that were all local, believe it or not, some which that taxing agencies like the fire companies, but at the same time, we did a lot of stuff that was not. The food pantry was a good example. These Thanksgiving dinner things. I don't know if you guys know about it, but it was big in Sullivan. You bought a ticket for X dollars, and they had a list of people, how many people in the family, whatever, and they would have costs attached to them, whatever. So we did that, but again, this was a group of people that was not funded in any way by the county, and in this case Sullivan, that needed help, and it's thank God, we're blessed, so we did it. But there are other things like that. We adopted Christmas families this year that we've never done. We did it anonymously. You can do it any way you want, but it's what it is. Like Tommy Merling. I mean, we donated to him. He does this Christmas fund that he's been doing. You can call it partisan, nonpartisan, but
the reversing GOP.
That's an amazing thing. They literally put up a website where you can with families in need could actually have their kids pick toys. So he actually buys the toy that's specific to the child. It really is. And his usage was up. I mean, the usage of the website was way up.
Our communities really know how to come together. And
They do.
And that was actually a theme moving forward through the budget that we heard a lot was, they did a lot during the COVID. They went the extra mile, but everyone's been going the extra mile and doing extraordinary work and going beyond what they would normally do.
Yep.
Ken, one of the hot topic conversations on the floor of the legislature, virtually, was the Airbnb contract. You want to touch on that a little bit? Because you really made a very compelling argument against, one of the reasons why we did not support that. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So it's complicated. I'll try to simplify it as much as I can. So currently Airbnb hosts, the people who are renting out their homes, primary homes, second homes, rooms, etc., as an Airbnb, owe occupancy tax under our occupancy tax law because they're essentially renting a room for, less than 90 days. More than 90 days, it becomes like renting a house.
Right.
So Airbnb for years has wanted to simplify the process by signing what are called voluntary collection agreements with counties. They're not required as the platform to collect our occupancy tax and remit it to us. under our occupancy tax law, we don't believe that they're allowed to pay us because we're not under our occupancy tax law that has been approved by the state. We're not allowed to collect tax from a third party. We can only collect tax from the actual owner-operator, which in this case would be the Airbnb host. So that's problem number one that everyone's been ignoring. Problem number two, and I think this is the more egregious problem, is that we've currently been using a company, an internet company that goes in and data mines all of the home sharing sites, HomeAway, Vrbo, Airbnb, Craigslist, everything, and then has gotten us I believe it's somewhere in the area of 70%, or upwards of 70% of the listings. We get the location, we get the contact information, and then the finance office has been reaching out to them to set them up as folks who are going to pay us occupancy tax directly, properly.
So they manage the amount. They manage the people who are using them, plus the people who have them, so the county can get their money.
Well, they don't even manage it. They give us the information, and the finance office does the work.
Gotcha. Okay.
They know
where they are.
Right. They know where they are.
So here's the important part about using this third party company, though. If people just send tax the proper way, Bert Golnick, our commissioner of finance, is not able to share that information. It's protected information. He can go to jail if he shares that information with anybody. So nobody gets to know where these folks are. That's a problem.
Say that. Can you say that again? So the company that gathers this information,
yes,
does what with it now?
They provide it to Bert,
right,
in the finance office, and
Bert
the
Golnick.
finance office can reach out to these hosts and sign them up to actually pay occupancy tax properly.
Gotcha.
So, since we're obtaining the information from a third party, if we're not getting it directly from the host,
right,
we can then share that information with the towns and the city,
correct,
in order for them to be able to go in and do code enforcement,
correct,
fire inspections,
correct.
And Tom Corcoran, who's the county legislator from Marlborough, fantastic guy, is the Marlborough building inspector.
Right.
And Tom was trying to explain to the members, mostly of the Democratic caucus, that as building inspector, he has no jurisdiction in 1- and 2-family homes. The only way he gains jurisdiction to a single or a 2-family home is if if it becomes a business. And so the towns are finding out that these 1- and 2-family homes are businesses through Airbnb, and then going in and doing proper fire inspections. Now that's really important because, especially for our firefighters, our volunteer firefighters, people can take a 2-family home, a 4-bedroom, and turn it into a 6-bedroom and make 2 of them Airbnbs. Now the problem is that 2 of those bedrooms now are not going to have a window. They're essentially almost like an illegal apartment. And, we've had several instances, especially across the state, especially in Rockland County, where firefighters have lost their lives because of illegal apartments, because they get in there and there's no way to get out.
Right.
My point is we may net a little bit more money. It's not going to be anywhere near what the sponsors of the voluntary collection agreement and the changes to the bed tax law over the last 5 years think it's going to be. But we may net a little bit more money. But I think that we're going to net a little bit more money and lose the ability to provide this important information to the towns.
Right.
So
now, that's what
really choosing. They're choosing, a little bit of money over people's lives.
Can I stop you for a second, Kenny?
Sure.
So Bert cannot give the towns the information right now?
Right now, he can.
Okay.
It's our it's our attorney's belief that if we continue to use this company on Airbnb's site, which is the biggest site, the most hosts are on Airbnb.
Right.
If we continue to use this company, we would be in breach of contract.
Wow.
The data mining company.
Data mining company.
Yeah.
And that's where Bert's getting the information to give to
Correct.
the town
That
so
he-
they
that
could
he can
do.
share.
Yeah. Wow. That's a very interesting dilemma.
Kenny really,
Good for you, Kenny. Great job.
No, we didn't beat it back.
Oh, you didn't beat it back.
No.
No.
Tried really hard,
The
but
Democratic caucus and John Parody voted for it, so it was 13-9.
yeah. But Kenny.
So now a town supervisor or town doesn't know if someone puts a home on the Airbnb.
A little, or converts their garage, like let's say,
Right.
into a studio, and they rent it out. So the firefighters show up, and they think that they're going into like a single-family residence,
Right.
And they walk in the front door, and they're like, "There's no structure fire in here." And lo and behold, they lift the garage door, and it's a whole studio apartment that's not on
Right.
anyone's radar anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for trying. How's that?
Oh, let me tell you, he did an amazing job. I mean, in the
Well,
end,
thanks.
there's times where, you can, nonetheless, we didn't beat it back, but
Hey, Kenny, I have another.
trying.
That leads me to another question, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but couldn't something like this go to the Public Safety Commission?
Which Public Safety Commission?
State Public Safety Commission.
No, they're not. They're not regulated. I'll tell you this: that over the years, I actually, in order to try to make this legal, because the Democrats were really in favor of it, I sponsored a home rule request asking for our occupancy tax law to be changed to allow us to collect from third parties,
Right.
to really legitimize the whole thing.
Right.
And it was actually before we started using the company to data mine. And the New York City Hotel Motel Trades Council,
Yeah.
the HTC, they beat it back.
Mm-hmm.
They told former Assemblyman Skartatos not to introduce it, and Senator Bonasic. Now, Senator Bonasic told Majority Council, "You don't tell me what bills I can and can't put in to benefit my constituents."
Right.
Former Assemblyman Skartatos said, "Okay," and it never got introduced in the Assembly. But the HTC has been against any legitimizing of Airbnb whatsoever.
Right.
So, yeah, unfortunately, Airbnb is still wildly unregulated in New York State.
Right.
Except for in the city.
Pretty amazing.
It is, and it's a great it's a great way to stay places. Don't get me wrong. I stayed in an Airbnb in St. John in the Virgin Islands.
Yep.
And it's fantastic. We had a beautiful 3-bedroom Airbnb that overlooked Great St. John Bay, Great Cruise Bay and Chocolate Hole. It was gorgeous. It was
I
fantastic.
get it. No, I do think they're great ideas. I mean, this is not a new concept. I mean, this is a concept that's going on. Listen, Zermatt, Switzerland. You rent an Airbnb. Well, they're not called Airbnbs back then when I was doing it, but 30 years ago, it was a big to-do. You rented a home. My house in Accord was we used to swap houses with people in Europe. I would use their house in Lake Como in Italy, and they would come and use our house here in the United States. It was called International House Swap.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to meet criteria, in order to do that. So, and it was only for a very short period of time, a week or two. But that's as long as we wanted to stay in in Lake Como anyway. But the moral of the story is, hey, Merry Christmas. Tony Momo just joined us for a quick second, pick something up. But these kinds of things have been done for long, but in different ways. Like house swapping is different. no money, no dollars change hands. But no, it's interesting.
You have any other questions for Ken?
No, I do. But again,
I figured you would.
yeah, it's we look at. I'm sorry, Kenny. You look at this budget and you say to yourself, the percentage is better than I. Did social services go up as much as you thought, or did it stay stable? What did that look like?
The social services budget actually went down significantly, but that's mostly in staff because a lot of the positions that we didn't refill were in social services. I don't think that social services went up as much as I expected it to. I think a lot of that had to do with the federal unemployment stimulus, and that sort of the federal unemployment in CARES, the increase in CARES as well as the stimulus. I think that those things did help.
So that's the point.
They're actually both very important. Again, I think it was important that sort of the economy opened back up, even though we're starting to shut it down again. I think that things like that stopped us from having really large increases in social services.
Yeah, and that's that's the reason I asked. We hear all this stuff, on in the media that people aren't getting the help they need. We need these. We do, and at the same time, now you look at it as it relates to our local, county government. Say, hey, wait a minute, it did work okay because they did get the money to help, or
it
keep
offsets.
It offset. The offset worked out really well. So, which leads me to the next question. You mentioned that the Cuomo, our governor, was looking to shut down restaurants and dining restaurants statewide.
Well, he alludes to it.
They've been talking about it. He keeps alluding to it in his daily in his daily briefings. One of my good friends, who's a state assemblyman, has been referring to the governor as, and I quote, the drink-tater. And I've enjoyed using that term. I don't see the kind of community spread at restaurants, and I'm not sure if others do, that would warrant shutting down indoor dining and making all these business owners lose these businesses that they've built.
Right.
A lot of the spread seems to be small gatherings at people's homes.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how you stop that. You can't.
No, you
ban
can't.
people
You have
from
a hard
having people
time.
over.
Well, we had a nice small gathering the other night, Ken.
We have a caller with a question for George has a question for Ken.
Oh, okay. Hey, George.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well and feeling fine and not too sore after shoveling all that nice white stuff we got yesterday.
Yeah.
But, Ken, my question is, I know you're on the local level and everything with the county legislators, and all during the COVID, they've been preaching to us, follow the science, even in Ulster County and stuff. Well, the science is telling us that it is not the restaurants that are causing the problems, but yet they are the first ones that are being shut down. People are being put out of work. People are going to be losing their business and everything. What is it? Do we follow the science or we don't follow the science?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, one of the struggles with the pandemic is that the science is fluid. It's not, we don't have 10 years of data on the science on the spread and who gets it and who doesn't. And so I think that that's one of the struggles, and I don't envy the governors, the president, and others in having to make decisions with half information. But I also think that they need to be cautious about like you say, saying things like follow the science and then doing things that don't necessarily follow the science. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were just talking about the coronavirus response, and what she said was, it's just so hard to follow because the rules change every couple of days.
Right, and you got these business owners that are trying to keep their businesses afloat, their employees employed, which are employees of the county and everything else too, and it makes it awful tough on them, and going to make it tough on the families around Christmas time too. Now he's going to close them down just before Christmas. Where is this guy's mind at? Where is his thinking at? And I tell you what, I like the way the county's been going for the most part and everything else. You guys have been doing a great job, especially with the budget. I definitely would love to see him leave the fund alone a little bit more than what they have been, and if necessary, it does not hurt to raise taxes a little bit, even in a year like this year, because I tell you what, if they wait and they exhaust their fund balance over this year and next year, because even with the vaccine, we don't know what next year is going to be like. And one of these years, you're going to have a dramatic jump in taxes, and everybody will be paying for it then.
I agree with you, and we still have more than 5% in the fund balance after what we appropriated this year. And I would not have supported appropriating more. Actually, we used a fund called the Tax Stabilization Fund that several members of the legislature were concerned about using. They would have rather used more fund balance. I felt completely the opposite. If ever there was a rainy day and a time to make sure the taxpayers are protected, it was this year. And we didn't use it all. We've got some for next year if we need it. But we used that on, PPE and coronavirus expenses that were unexpected. The county's been providing, many people don't know, the county's been providing nursing homes, EMS organizations, fire departments, first responders with N95s and surgical masks, through the pandemic, to the tune of, somewhere around $750,000, I think right now, somewhere between $750,000 and $1 million. And, unfortunately, one thing the pandemic has done is drive up the price of N95s to an unreasonable level.
Right.
You're looking at 400% or 500% increases in the cost of N95 masks.
Yeah, and at some point that needs to be looked at, because those people are definitely taking advantage of the situation, and there's supposed to be laws out there to where they're not supposed to be able to do it.
Yep.
And it's just like when hurricanes and stuff come in down south, and building supplies goes up 300%, 400%, 500% because people got to rebuild.
Yep.
But no, as far as the county's doing a great job and everything else, and I was glad to hear that our congressman put in a bill to help us with the veteran cemetery down there in Newport and all.
Yep.
That is fantastic, and hopefully they can do that, because we're in the process of trying to expand that cemetery down there. The last thing I heard was that they had to go through a problem with finding artifacts in it.
Yep.
Yep.
And that is going to hold up that process. But I'll tell you what, that's a beautiful cemetery we've got down there. Our post here in the town of Esopus is basically responsible for putting the flags out in the veteran cemetery down there, and after Veterans Day, we pick them back up and take them off the grave site, so they're not there for the winter time. But it is a beautiful cemetery. I'll let you guys continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
And I hope everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
to
to you,
safe
too.
and healthy New Year.
Thanks, you too,
Thank
George.
you, George.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you for your
Go
service,
enjoy.
not only to the country, but also, to the county and to the veteran cemetery. That's important work.
Yep.
Right, and I did meet you one time, Ken. You was at the honor guard dinner that they had one time down in Newburgh, and I spoke with you for a while.
Yep.
But have a great day, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Yep. Same to you.
Thank you. You as well.
Hey, Kenny, getting back to the budget a little bit, the oversight, we give, obviously you have organizations that work with the county, whether it be family Woodstock, and they go on and on. What does the oversight look like? Have you guys looked at that? Do you feel the process to make sure they're using the money in the correct way? Is it a fair process? Is it a good process?
Well, we finally have a process. I've been fighting for years for a policy regarding the use of these funds. We finally passed one. We amended it at our last meeting. I'm not wild about the amendment, but I sometimes you just have to make a compromise to make things work.
Yep.
But really, there had been no process. It was just they invoice us, and there was one organization where the person who was really the county was the only source of funding for her. She would just put in invoices and get paid. And when I was chairman, I looked at the invoices and I said, "We're not paying for this." Personal attorney's fees, personal car insurance.
Really?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. It was, and again, since then she, says not so nice things to me in her backup material every year during the budget time. I remind myself and my colleagues at that point that I didn't get elected to make a bunch of friends. I got elected to watch out for the taxpayers.
Right.
So
obviously. So,
but yeah, the process now. There's there's the ability to say no if it's not being used properly. So.
And is that the county comptroller? Is that
no? It's through our.
It's through the legislative committee process.
Is it an outside agency that's doing these audits, or?
Oh no, these aren't audits. These are contract for services. I quite honestly feel that at some point it would be great if somebody could take a deeper dive into some of these.
That's my point.
Services, and that would always be something that I would welcome. I was hopeful that maybe we could do that this year, but the pandemic happened. But but no, I think what Ken and I are talking about are the contract for services with a lot of the non-for-profits and whatnot. And Ken's really worked hard to come up with a better checks and balances for that.
The auditing process is really through our fiscal analysts in the legislature,
right?
And also there's a questionnaire with questions on it like, is the county your only source of funding?
Right.
Because there's a and there was a large discussion about it. Some think that it's okay for the county to be the only source of funding. Some don't. We had something in there that would not allow organizations that had just started to get funded their first year.
Gotcha.
And then we had members of the Democratic caucus had a big fight about whether or not that was fair. What if the best company in the world came in? I said, quite frankly, if the best company, like if Peter Buffett started a company with or started a fund with $10 million and they needed something to leverage the money or whatnot, we'd be able to fund the program anyway. Because,
right.
It's a policy of the legislature. I'm not saying that we make something that we intend to ignore, but I'm saying if it would benefit the taxpayers, maybe we would look the other way, or maybe we would amend the policy or suspend the rules. We have several options. At our disposal.
Yep.
But I just don't think that first-year organizations, should come to the county for their first bit of money.
I agree with that. The other question. I mean, I hate to, in the contract itself, does it give the legislature the ability to audit if they wanted to?
Yes. All our boilerplate contract gives us the right to request their books, which is how I got the information from the organization that was invoicing us for car insurance.
Excellent. No, thank you, Ken. I mean, I have to say, I'm very happy to do. You keep pushing and doing a good job, both of you, and it really does boil down to just continually keeping your eyes wide open.
And Heidi has been very kind, and I appreciate it with her words about my work. I can tell you that I could not do anything that I'm doing without Heidi's hard work and without the partnership of the members of the Republican caucus. I mean, it's a great group of men and women, that are just trying to do the right thing by the people of the county and the taxpayers of the county.
Yep.
And we get along, we disagree, we fight, we argue, and then we can raise a glass together at the end of the night, saying that we did a good job for the people.
Yep.
And that's I love working with them. It's really great.
Yeah. And that was exactly what we did the other night. We had our little virtual gathering.
We did. We had a virtual holiday party.
We did a virtual holiday party. It's not quite the same, but it was nice to just chat for a bit.
Yeah.
Well, Ken, thank you so much for calling in.
My pleasure. Again,
Thanks,
sorry
Kenny.
Sorry I was a little late. But
No, have the merriest of Christmas. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Have a safe holiday.
Yep.
You guys as well.
And we'll see you soon. Stay safe.
We'll catch up in the new year.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Ken.
Sounds good. Yep.
Speaking of which, we're not back on the air until after.
I was just looking at
The
that.
18th.
January 15th is the next time you guys
Yeah,
are on
I
the
just
air.
realized that was
because unless you guys want to come in New Year's Day.
No,
I'm kidding.
I would love to say yes to that, and I'm not a party. I just watch TV. I stay up late, and Terry and I buy this little tiny weenie champagne thing and say thank God. We did that at skate time. It's it's funny because you can't have the kids, the liquor license, but we went in the back and opened up this little tiny thing.
Yeah, no, we're not back again until the 15th.
No.
But I'd just like to take a minute in these closing few minutes that we have here. It just hit me today when I looked at my Google Calendar that anyone who works, I work for the Senate. I've been blessed to work for Senator George Amador, and our calendar is ending.
Yeah.
I live in, when you work for someone like that, you live and die by that calendar. And I've been looking at it for 6 years. And it's like the first thing you do is what's on the calendar today.
Right.
The calendar. And it ends after the 31st. And with that, I want to just say how much of an amazing experience it's been being able to serve for Senator George Amador and working for him doing everything at the arm of the senator for the past 6 years. It's been an amazing opportunity. I'm so proud of the work that we have done. Senator Amador did not choose to seek re-election. Had he, I'm sure he would be the victor, and I would have continued to be able to work for him. But like I said, with that being said, I'm so very proud of all the work we've done here in the 46th Senate District, serving the constituents. Some of the things were very pleasant that we were able to do, but some of the other things were very challenging, and especially in constituent services, some of the things that we've done have been very difficult. But nonetheless, it's been an absolute honor, and I would be remiss if I actually didn't say it's been life-changing for me.
Well, Heidi, just let me add that I want to thank you. Thank you for those years. You, Senator Amador, his staff as a whole, served the 46th District very, very solidly. And that we have to thank you for. There are a lot of people with a lot of personal needs. And, the first stop sometime is the Senate office. How do I get stuff done? So I want to thank you for your service and Senator Amador for his. And as we move into the next generation of senators and a new session, let's hope that all goes well and stays well. We want to wish Senator Hinchy the same success with her seat and let her move forward again
Absolutely.
in a positive
and
way.
I'm confident that she will, along with her staff, continue to serve these constituents as well. And but nonetheless, it's been an amazing experience. And I thank the senator so very, very much for providing me with that opportunity.
Well, and you earned
I'm
it.
going to continue to do some good stuff moving forward.
Definitely earned it. And he, but it's so strange to hear what you just said because how long have we known each other, and you've always been always willing to help, always willing to dive in.
And that was the best part of my job. Always helping. That gave me a vehicle in which to do it.
I go back to the fire company with the LoSAP. What must be found and what must be fixed. So you go back and see all the time that people have put in, like yourself, to make sure that people are getting what they deserve, and couldn't agree with that more.
That's a passion that I have is helping people.
Yeah.
I find a lot of satisfaction. I mean, it's like I said, it's not always easy, and sometimes you have to make hard decisions.
Yeah.
That being said, I wish you and yours a very
Thank you.
happy, healthy, merry,
as well as yours.
everything, and to all our listeners also a very happy, healthy holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yes, and thank you for both of you for supporting us this year. Both of your donations to Kingston Community Radio, your time and effort, and helping us out. And me and my mother love having you guys on. We're so glad that you're going to be joining us next year.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to see you for a month.
I know, amazing. Strange, right?
Hopefully when we come back, maybe we'll have vaccine shots.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
There
thank
you
you
go.
for the opportunity as well.
No problem.
Thank you very much for
everybody.
having
Have a great weekend and stay warm.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio, KCR, AM 920 and 92.5 FM WGHQ, and our live streaming on mykcr.org. Join us each weekday morning from 7 to 9 a.m., and until the next show, we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. We now return you to Real Country Radio.
Wherever you go, listen to Real Country Radio at 920 WGHQ Kingston, 1260 WBNR Beacon, and 1420 WLNA Peekskill, and RealCountryHV.com. This is Real Country. This is Real Country. This is Real Country. When you want to hear the best country music ever made from the legends that made them, you got to listen to the Hudson Valley's Real Country Radio. Real Country, 1260, 1420, and 920 a.m.
Your lying blue eyes used to charm me.